My wife told my mother that the most she ever cried was getting a soccer ball launched into her balls. My wife is trans, and we met for the first time after she fully medically and surgically transitioned. Nobody besides her family and my sister, who found out on her own, really knows this, and she wants to keep it that way. We both wanted to have kids young, so we adopted our little girl before the pandemic started. Because of everything that's been going on, my parents didn't really get to meet her until last week, and my sister and her husband were also there. My parents are very conservative, and they've been a bit disappointed about the fact that we adopted nothing really explicit, but just subtle things. After they met our daughter, though, they melted a little because how could you not? But they still wanted to know why we adopted. I felt a bit clever saying fertility issues because we do have fertility issues, just not the kind my parents probably thought. My sister didn't say anything at the time, but she let loose on me later. I forgot that she has fertility issues, and she started yelling at me, saying that she's been spending tens of thousands of dollars on in vitro, how depressed it's made her, how her marriage is on the rocks, and how she's traumatized from her miscarriages. She told me that she trusted me with that and that I was immature. I told her that we technically do have fertility issues, and she said it's different because we chose to have ours, and we knew what we were getting into. She said that it wasn't our issue that was appropriate. All the women I dated before my wife were cis, but I didn't fall in love with any of them. I don't think I chose to fall in love with her, so that made me pretty upset. I wouldn't have felt like I was in the wrong until my sister told me that I could have just said that I felt like it would be better for the world to adopt. I still think it would have been met with a lot of suspicion and criticism from my parents, but that would have been the easiest way to avoid anybody getting hurt, and now I've built this unnecessary rift between my sister and me. My wife says that we do have fertility issues, and she feels bad for my sister because of everything she's going through, but ultimately, we have nothing to apologize for because we told the truth. Update: our daughter is still the most precious girl in the world. Even though, at the end of the day, I don't think it was wrong to refer to it as fertility issues. I apologized to my sister once she cooled down anyway. She's been going through a lot. Sometimes, things aren't about being right so much as they're about family. My sister forgave us, and we hugged it out. She even apologized about telling her she was appropriating issues, which honestly offended me the most, but that wasn't the end of it. My wife couldn't get rid of this nagging feeling that maybe something could go wrong again, and my sister or her husband would tell my parents, so she told me she wanted to come out to them. It was a hard decision for us because I love them, and I was terrified they would disown me and spread gossip about her. What could I say? My wife owns me. It's her over everyone else for me. She kept getting scared every time we agreed we were going to say something, and it ended up coming out when my mom was telling my wife how much I cried when I broke my arm. She said the most she ever cried was getting a soccer ball launched into her balls. I love my wife. She had to explain it a bit to them, and they're still a little uncomfortable, but nothing has really changed. At first, they were horrified, but they always really liked her, and they couldn't just erase that, especially after she explained her situation to them. If anything, she's made them a bit more open-minded, and I actually got my sister and her husband looking into adoption. Everybody wants a daughter like ours.